White can't kill those stones. So what is he trying to do here? The trick is that White is able to fill the liberties on these black stones, and now he's able to play and make A into an I, where normally you wouldn't be able to, because black can't play at T4. It's pretty cool, right? Um, so I guess that he read that a while ago, and now black is realizing it. So he comes back to here, makes the cross cut, which is really the only natural shape to play in this sort of shape. These are all pretty much forced. Yeah, there's um, as we go through the weeks, and I'm gonna, my goal is to do these games one by one. Um, it takes quite a bit of work. It usually takes me, a little while to memorize the game and things like that. So I can probably do like one a week or maybe one every 2 weeks. Um, but there's examples of reading that go even way beyond this, and yeah, it's pretty startling. So look forward to that. So here, white plays, to protect like his cutting point and to threaten to kill these three cutting stones, which are important stones, obviously. But black ignores. First he peeps, to give white an ugly shape, and then he protects. And this is actually correct because if black connects here, even though it looks, whoops, even though it looks like white has a bunch of shape or black has a bunch of eye shape in this area, this move, if black allows this move, the entire group is in danger of being killed. A is not a real eye. B needs a move to be an eye. Um, White is threatening to cut, and the entire thing is boxed in by white stones. So black has to give up the cutting stones, which is a loss, but he had to do that. But so now everything's settled, right? A and B are settled because they killed the cutting stones. Black had already settled in the corner. Um, White is all settled on the left, and black settled his E group. So what is there to do on this board now? Let me get rid of all these markings. Um, there's these stones, right? Yeah, the top. And so how do we start the top? We have to go back to this move, right? From the beginning. If black's going to do anything, first he needs to separate it. So that's what he does. He plays this Atari. And white goes about settling these stones. And black keeps his shape strong over here. This may look a little weak, but there's like Aji over here. Maybe there's some Aji with the B stone. And for example, let me just click a random move for black. It's not impossible to do stuff in here. I'm just going to click some moves. There's enough Sente moves that if black doesn't defend, white, it's possible to get something flowing in there. So black plays this, which reinforces the whole thing. Um, this part's actually kind of funny. So first, just take a look at these two stones, right? They're essentially two weak white stones. Let's see the result. White plays here because he knows that black is essentially forced to respond now because he's made a commitment. There's too many stones in this area. So that's Sente. Oh, I messed up the tree. Fail. Um, he actually plays Kasumi first. And he just keeps pushing, 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 and then plays here. Essentially, he makes a really nice territory out of, what was just these two stones to begin with. Of course, he had to, give black the area on the right, but that was essentially black's anyways. And at this point, the game is actually close. Um, and this move here threatens to cut, right? So if white were to play A next, it would be a really big ko. So black, preemptively takes the ko and connects that way. And so now this is going to be a ko battle that goes on for a while. White plays a nice ko threat here, which exploits, the hane at the head of 2, threatening to capture with A next. Black has to defend. The shape's still not great. White takes the ko threat. Um, White plays a ko threat over here. Um, Essentially is threatening to clamp. So black responds to keep white out of there. White retakes the ko. Black threatens to jump into the corner. And if white's going to allow that, the ko, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to do the ko and give up the corner. So white responds there. Black takes. Ko threat here to connect all of these stones together. White gets a lot of nice ko threats in this area, actually. Um, Black's next ko threat is here. What do you think about that? I I never understood this move until this time reviewing this game. In the past, I never got this, and I just ended up chalking it up to, oh, it must just be an end game thing, like it's for points. But right, like I could never figure out why it was a threat. But so let's take a look. This time, I think I finally figured it out. So the problem is these stones, right? So like, let's say you hane, right? And then what's the next move? It's actually quite. This is like a common endgame thing that I should know well, but for some reason I didn't realize this until just now. Black can make use of the shortage of liberties on these guys, and white has no choice, right? This is like all forced. No choice, no choice, no choice, no choice, and that is not good, right? So that's the threat. Um, that's why white just plays here to fix that for now. And black takes the ko, white connects, threatening the snapback. Black responds, white responds. Um, this threatens the same thing again, pretty much. So white has to respond. Black takes, white cuts, threatening to kill the 3 stones. But here something actually goes wrong for white. Black defends by connecting here. And do you see an issue here for white? This stone has some effect on these stones. So imagine if black plays A, white has to try to connect at B, and then black can Atari at C, and it's a connect and die, right? Which would be saving these cutting stones from earlier. So let me just click white's move first and just show that just in case. This, right? Yeah, and it's that this is the type of thing that seems like a small thing, but with players of this level, you make a threat and suddenly they get sente out of it. That's like can be game over, right? Um, Now the thing is, black couldn't actually do this right away because notice that these moves that white is playing is also reducing liberties on white, so or on black, so he can't actually do that right away because then these will die. All these black stones will die. Um, but the problem is this move is still correct anyways because black has ways of threatening it, like with something like this. And the commentary was that white is going to have to fix that anyway. So yeah, this is just unfortunately white has to fix here, and now black kind of sees his chance. So the first thing white or black does is play here, which seems really random, but this is basically a double sente. White could Atari at A and sente, um, and black can wedge in and sente. So he does that, and then he comes back to here, which is essentially just a really big move that almost ensures his victory. If he doesn't play there, white can clamp, and it gets annoying. So this is actually a really big move. White has no choice but to go back to the ko. He's down a little bit now. Black's ahead, so that's pretty much his only chance. Um, Black's ko threat was here, uh, which is a good ko threat, right? It threatens to come in and ruin the moyo, and it also means that white can't play. It's hard for white to play B anyway, so white has to respond to that. Black takes. White has a ko threat here. Atari. Now black connects. Now this is one I still don't understand. I was telling you I didn't understand the other one from earlier. White plays here, and I still think this is just a matter of points. I think that in terms of points for white to win, he's kind of like counting these as miai. Um, it's not life and death. I mean, clearly white's group has to be alive. I don't see any sort of like Tessages black can do anymore. So I think it's just, black secures these points, white needs these points. Um, but I'm really not sure on that one. So black takes, and white is sort of running out of threats. He plays here, which is a big move for the moyo, and essentially black realizes he's won now, and he plays Sente endgame, and then he connects here, which is like the victory declaration move, right? If he wasn't sure he was winning, maybe he would do A instead to have a chance, to make it bigger. So this is like a victory declaration move. White knows he's behind two, and his last chance is to start a ko here. Um, but it's still difficult. He threatens here, and white plays here, or black responds here. Any idea why he would respond there rather than here solidly? Right. Jay's got it. Otherwise, these are all going to be co-threats because of the Liberty battle between B and C. Um, so he responds that way. And Black plays here.